Morning everyone. I just wanted to give you an idea of where we stayed, what it looked like here in Pamplona in Spain. It's this big car park. I'll try and show you it. It stretches right down there and it's free park up 24 hours. And just across the road I think there's a fire department, but anyway there's a big park and it's about 10 minutes walk into town, which is really well worth doing. And just across the road too is a camper van or RV park, but you've got to pay. But this is perfect. It was nice and quiet here. We had no problems. There is a water fountain across if you go across the park, so you can get water. There's nothing here. There's no toilets or anything. I did see a toilet in the park as well, but it wasn't all that wonderful. But for a place to stop over for the night and maybe just go into town and experience Pamplona at night time, it's well worth it. We're going to be on our way now, and we'll take you along with us. We're not too sure just where we're going yet, but we'll keep you updated along the way. Cheers everyone. This is an ancient Celtiberian settlement that was under siege by the Romans for a long time, and they never ever really got to take it. But around, I think it was 133 BC. There was a Roman called Scipio Africanus. He was actually given the job of laying siege to this settlement. Now these Celtiberians were very strong fighters, and this settlement, I think it had around about 3,000 to 4,000 inhabitants, and it was protected by a wall that went around it. And Scipio Africanus decided that he wasn't going to lay siege to it in the sense of attacking it, but he would rather build a fortification on the outsides of it. So he did just this. He built 7 towers which were placed on different hills, and then between these towers he built a fence, and this fence had sharpened poles and everything to deter anybody trying to get through it. He even went so far as to dam up the swampy area, where it then became almost like a moat, making it difficult for anybody to get across, as well as his legionnaires could fire from these towers. They could fire the arrows into the settlement. And anyway, I think the story goes they did try and attack it, and they actually used elephants. There were 10 elephants they had, but these Celtiberians actually attacked this Roman force, and I think one of the elephants was struck with a rock, whether it was a rock that was shot from a catapult but anyway, it hit this elephant on the head, and the elephant went a bit berserk, and it turned on the Romans. So they decided not to carry on attacking the actual settlement, but decided to rather starve them. So this went on for about 8 months. All they did, they blocked off the river, because there's a river that actually comes past there, which these Celtiberians were getting supplies. They put chains across and prevented any boats coming up or anybody trying to swim out. And for 8 months they just kept this position. And of course what happened is, within this settlement, which I said about 3,000 or 4,000 people, disease would have set in, and not only that, the supplies would have ran out. So they resorted to eating all their livestock, even resorted to eating the liver, sort of the skins that they had there, and then they turned to cannibalism. And rather than surrender to the Romans and become slaves, these Celtiberians actually committed suicide. The majority of them committed suicide. That included the families, and the few that didn't were then taken as slaves. But Scipio Africanus then flattened this settlement, but he only did that after the Celtiberians had set light to the settlement and burnt it. You can imagine, you can see the stone walls, which were then later on settled, were flattened by Scipio Africanus, but the actual buildings themselves would have had thatch roofs like the ones in the example here, and those would have all burned. So they burnt this settlement, and then it was totally destroyed by the Romans. So it does symbolize, they say that the site is a symbol of resistance and struggle of a people for freedom, and it's I think it's quite an important part of the Spanish history. And of course this site was hidden for a long time, but it was discovered and has been slowly brought to the position that it is today. And when you walk around here, as I said, you see all the buildings just at ground level, but it's quite a substantial size settlement, and they give little examples of the wall that they had around this structure. I would imagine just a rebuilt examples just to show what it was like. But they held out for 8 months, and of course they had no way of getting out of this or leaving this settlement other than surrender, and that was something they weren't prepared to do. But it was an amazing place to walk through, and again, it's just one of those little places, those gems that we like to bring to you and to show you, and we find them, and I just think they're part of history, and just so nice to know about and learn about. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this trip with us, and we'll see you further down the road. Okay everybody, bye then.